Hi, welcome to the Anxiety Doesn't Own Me podcast. My name is Emmanuel Isaacson, and I'm here to help you to heal your anxiety naturally. On today's episode, what we're going to be talking about is intrusive thoughts. This is something that is, it's difficult. It really is to deal with intrusive thoughts. Like, I remember whenever I was dealing with intrusive thoughts, I would try to control every single thing that I was thinking about. I was trying to do it, which put so much pressure on me. And it kind of like, it was driving me crazy in a way that I always had to try to control what I was thinking or try to avoid situations. Like, whenever I would be in front of somebody and I would be talking at them, all I've been thinking about is like, I want to punch this person in the face. That's what I was thinking about. I just want to punch them. That's what I want to do. And like force myself not to do that. Even though that I knew I was never going to do that, it never did happen. It never happened. No matter how many times that thought popped into my head, I never came to the point that I actually punched someone in the face just from like us talking. And it would have like this certain feeling, like a very strong feeling, like an urge that it was about to happen, that it was going to happen. And I wasn't able to control it, which scared me. So I would try to avoid talking to people because of this, or not look at them whenever I was talking to them because that's what I would think about. Even every single time that I would actually be, let's say, cutting up vegetables, I've been thinking very negative thoughts about when I was cutting up vegetables. Nothing ever happened. Nothing ever did happen. But like I was always nervous that something would happen. I was always scared and terrified that I actually would do something when I was cutting up my vegetables. And I don't want to say what to give you guys ideas or anything like that. Because again, whenever I was experiencing anxiety disorder, I did not want to hear anybody else's intrusive thoughts. Like, I didn't want to know. I really didn't care because they don't give me more ideas. But every single time I would get this, I would like feel like this is an urge and I wouldn't be able to control it. But it never actually happened. But I was just try to avoid doing things like cooking or ever holding certain utensils, talking to certain people. I would just avoid it because I was scared that it would actually happen. And even, I think most people have intrusive thoughts, but the difference is that what's happening with us is that we are focusing, and it's not even focusing, it just like, it's, in a way, it's like so strong that it overwhelms us. It's not that we're just focusing on it. We're also like this like overwhelming feeling of like, I can't get these thoughts out of my mind. Yes, of course, because we have anxiety, we're more focused on certain things in order to protect ourselves. And this is why we avoid certain things that give us intrusive thoughts, because we're trying to, quote unquote, protect ourselves. And what's happening really is that we are creating more thoughts by trying to avoid the situation or trying to control the situation and trying to control our thoughts. But we're always focusing on these thoughts. We always had them before here and there. I'm not as intense, not as much as we do now, but we always had them before here and there. And I think most people do have it, but it's on a very small, low level. But over here right now, when you have an anxiety disorder, we have these intrusive thoughts that are just overwhelming. And again, they can be intrusive thoughts about violence. They can be unwanted thoughts, unwanted sexual thoughts, urges, pictures, whatever it is. Those can be intrusive thoughts. Now, the reason why we even have intrusive thoughts is because our sympathetic nervous system, our body, our mind is haywired. So it is in stress mode. And right now, our anxiety is making us hyper-focused on certain situations, on certain things in order to protect ourselves because we're looking at it in a dangerous way. We're seeing these intrusive thoughts as dangerous, which I definitely understand where you're coming from, and it makes sense. It definitely does make sense because these intrusive thoughts they feel like it's about to happen or you're going to do it, and you try to avoid those situations in order to protect yourself or not do that thing. But the thing is about with intrusive thoughts is that we need to is that don't let it define who you are. These are just thoughts. It doesn't mean because you have these intrusive thoughts, that means you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you are a violent person or that you have these unwanted sexual thoughts, that means you are A, B, and C. It doesn't mean anything. It's just thoughts that are created because of our anxiety, because of our stress, because of our mental state that we're in right now. But as you see, we have never done or acted on these thoughts, and you never will. You never will because, again, these thoughts are just air. They're just thoughts. They will come and go, but we're trying so hard to control it and try to push them away. And all that's doing is creating more intrusive thoughts because, again, you're creating more stress within you and more pressure in you, which is creating more thoughts. So what we need to do is that we need to stop controlling the thoughts, letting go, accepting that we even have these thoughts, which is hard because it feels like, oh my God, if I'm going to accept this thought, that means like it's going to happen. No, what you're doing is that you're just waving hello to the thought, like, hey, hello thought, like, oh, nice to see you. I accept you over here. It's fine that if you stay here, nothing is going to happen. So what you're doing over there is, first of all, you're separating yourself from the intrusive thought. That's number one. And number two is that what you're doing is that you're not pushing it out. You're not creating more stress or more pressure on yourself that creates more of these intrusive thoughts. So what you're doing is that you're basically calming yourself down and showing to the anxiety, like, hey, this intrusive thought is not dangerous. It's fine. I know this sounds the opposite of whatever you're used to. And I'm there with you, and I definitely understand it, and I've tried to control it and try to push it out and try to fight it, but it never really helped. It never really helped. All it did was create more and more thoughts. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to change the way I am actually dealing with these intrusive thoughts and more of accepting them and just looking at them as a thought. They're just air. They have no meaning. It doesn't mean this is who I am, because a lot of us feel bad. Like, hey, am I like this kind of person? Does that mean I'm a violent person? So we automatically define ourselves, and we don't want to do that. So we want to separate ourselves, not define ourselves. Just look at the thought as an error. We want to say, you know what? I accept this thought. It's not going to do anything. It's not harmful. Because then we're going to reprogram our mind and show, like, hey, there's nothing wrong with this thought. And what this does, I know this sounds the opposite of what you're thinking about. Like, what are you telling me to accept this? What are you telling me just to bring it in and it's fine, it's not dangerous? I don't want to think this way. Just understand that, again, whenever you do that, you're reprogramming your mind. And what it does is that it no longer focuses on that thought because it doesn't deem as dangerous. So whenever we're in a dangerous situation, or wherever we see that we think that's dangerous, that's what we're going to focus on. And we want to get the focus off the intrusive thought. You understand? We want to get it off our mind and let it pass by. You can also provide evidence. Say, hey, listen, you know, how long have I had these intrusive thoughts for? How long? Has anything actually ever happened? Have I ever done anything bad? Have I ever acted on these thoughts? No, I have not. So that gives the evidence that you're not going to do anything. I'm speaking from my own experience, from people that I've dealt with, people that I've helped with in overcoming their anxiety. And not one has ever acted on their intrusive thoughts whenever they're dealing with anxiety. So we want to bring in that evidence and show, like, hey, listen, you know, there's nothing really wrong. Nothing really happened over here. And we're perfectly fine. We're perfectly safe. We're not going to act on these thoughts. And also, a lot of us, whenever we're dealing with an emotional situation, we try to bring in logic. We try to bring in logic in order to shut it up, right? But that doesn't really help. So, because what we want to do is bring emotion with emotion. And what I mean by that is actually acknowledging of whatever we're experiencing. Because if we right away bring in the logic, we bring in the proofs, we're bringing the evidence, what happens is that it just fights back. What we want to do is, first of all, acknowledge it. Say, you know what? I see that you're here. It's fine that you're here. There's no problem over here whatsoever. It's totally fine. I accept you for whatever thought I have. I accept you. And then afterwards, we want to bring in the evidence, we want to bring in the proofs, we want to bring in the logic, and say to yourself, you know what, I'm not really a violent person. I really believe in, we want to bring our characteristics in and what we value, and we can say, you know what, I'm not a violent person. I'm against violence. Or, for example, like, I am not going to do A, B, and C because this is my value. My value is quite the opposite. So we won't go against what we think our value is or our characteristic is. So what we want to do is bring that in and show that proof. But at the same time, not to put so much energy in trying to deal with it, because again, whenever we're putting so much energy and so much thought process and so much pressure and stress to try to control it and try to fight it, it just becomes bigger. What we want to do is let it be as it is, because we cannot fight this thing. We cannot fight it. We could fight it in the right way. What we're doing right now, we're actually fighting it in the wrong way. And what I mean by fighting is actually going against it. But that's the wrong way to fight it. Sometimes we just gotta let it be. That's the right way to fight it. It's like Tai Chi. You just go with the flow. You do not want to fight it directly. You just go with the flow and you just push it away in the right way. And the right way to do it is just like I explained to you before and how to actually do it. Just to understand that you're not alone in this, and it's perfectly normal to experience these thoughts, these intrusive thoughts whenever you're having an anxiety disorder. So it's definitely normal to have these thoughts, and it doesn't mean anything bad about you. Don't let it define you who you are. If you did like this episode, please click the like button and leave a 5-star review so that we can reach more people. And if you think someone is struggling with intrusive thoughts, please share this with them so that they can also benefit from this. Because again, the more people that we can reach, the more people that we can actually help. Because I truly believe in helping people to overcome their anxiety. That is my purpose. That is my mission. And I really want to help as many people as possible to show them, hey, you're not alone and that there is hope. I even created a course for this, the Healing Anxiety course. You can click the link below. And I'm doing a live coaching event in order to help people to overcome their anxiety. It's a group session so that we're all together as a community and all as one, trying to achieve the same goal. It really does help when you have other people trying to achieve the goal, and it keeps you motivated and inspired, and you're able to help each other. So I'm also doing that as well. So if you want, you can click on the link below to sign up. Take care, guys, and have a great day.